Conspiracies Now, brought to you by Speedweed.com. Filmed in front of a live audience in the podcast studios of the world-famous comedy store. This week's guest, comedian Brody fucking Stevens. Next week's comedian, Jonathan Daniel fucking Brown. I'm Wayne Roberts, and now welcome your host for the Tinfoil Hat Podcast, Sam Tripoli.
Give it up for our professional voiceover guy here on Conspiracies Now. Packed house.
Yes.
Packed house. We got a packed house here. Today's show is brought to you by, as always, Speedweed.com. Did we drop to LA? Is it still LA Speedweed?
I have both, but Speedweed.com.
Speedweed.com. Go to Speedweed.com. You don't got to leave your house anymore. Nobody has to leave their house thanks to basically fucking what's
Postmates.
Postmates and Speedweed.
Grubhub.
You never need to leave your house.
Nope, don't have to do
On
it.
Tinder, I guess you invite chicks over. Are the kids still on Tinder?
I'm thinking about signing up.
Okay, I like that. This week's guest is one of my favorite people on the planet. We've toured together,
Yes.
made literal tens of dollars together.
You got it.
On
Texas
tour.
10.
Texas 10. He is the host of Festival of Friendship.
You got it.
The one only Brody Stevens, everybody. Legend.
Excited to be here, Sam.
Thanks for coming on my talk show that everybody's talking about. It's really jumping, and I appreciate having you on. Tell them real quick about your podcast.
I do a weekly podcast over at All Things Comedy. It's a festival of friendship, and I do it once a week over there. And it's it's a lot of spinning plates. Get a few different guests. It's kind of it's taken on more of a silly tone. Back in the day, it was more of a one-on-one, like a Mark Maron, like...
What was back in the day? Was that 2017?
I would say 2014, 2013. I did a lot of one-on-ones. Then I did a lot of solo podcasts.
Okay.
And, numbers
So
kind of
it
reflected
started out as like a more serious thing, so we could say it was more of like a jazz festival. Then it became like a Burning Man, and now it's more of like Funny or Die.
Yeah, exactly. So in Funny or Die, still a little bit of a Burning Man. But if you're to ask me, I think I'd like to get back to the serious, the one-on-one, and let the guests talk.
Yeah.
I really like to do the one-on-one interview, to sit across and talk and say, like, where are you from? What do you do? What are you thinking? Because when you have 3 and 4 different people, a lot of moving parts, the conversations don't get to...
When everybody wants to be talking all the time.
Yeah, but I'm doing it for just to kind of make a splash, like, get people talking about it. So if I have 2 guests on, that's 2 more people who are promoting it as opposed to 0 guests, just me.
Right. Well, I did your show. It was one of my favorite podcasts I've ever done.
Really?
It was you, Eddie Pepitone. To this day, I still think that is the political discussion that we need, and I'm being serious with that. You both are, you're very much alike, but there's some differences you have that makes it a fun conversation to watch.
Yeah. Well, Eddie's more East Coast. He is a little more
Leftist.
A little bit, but not. He's like. I guess he would be maybe like a Bernie type guy.
Yeah,
possibly.
I think he's like, he hates the banks, he hates all that, and I think you hate that part too. But I think you guys have a different, you're more alike than you are different, but it's those little differences that would make that conversation so much fun to watch all the time.
Yeah, he'd be, I got to get him back on.
I think it would be
one-on-one, Brody and Eddie Pepitone.
You guys should do a show here where you guys just cross-talk each other. I would moderate that in a heartbeat. I think it would be great.
We can make that happen.
I think we can. I know some people here.
But, it's like when I began my earlier podcasts, I did it kind of out of the Mark Maron school of podcasting because I just needed to talk to people. It's like just talking.
Yes,
as
that's
opposed
important.
to like entertaining, spinning plates, getting upset at Erica Ligney, who's booking guests and treating it like a morning radio show. It's a podcast. You got to let it breathe. You got to let it flow.
I couldn't agree more with that. I think that some people get into podcasting, they overthink it.
Yeah.
And what they don't realize is that podcasting it really is people want a real conversation. They don't want all this production. And
Yeah.
it takes a while for people to realize. I messed that up when I first started the Naughty Show, which I will put the Naughty Show up in terms of funny up against any podcast ever, but I couldn't get anyone to listen to it because it was just wacky funny. And now I got this new podcast, Tinfoil Hat. It's 2 years old, but this thing has resonated with people. And I'm always amazed at how many people are just excited about the show and all that stuff. But it's resonated because people want to learn. I mean, unfortunately, we work more than we ever did before. We have to because we don't get paid what we used to, and so they don't have time to read books anymore. So it's like they use basically podcasts to learn knowledge, gain knowledge.
Yeah.
And I've learned that through my podcast. That's a big part of the allure of podcasting. It's like, why am I listening to what you have? What about you do I need to let you in? Like, I have a buddy of mine, the old co-host of this show. He tell me he'd listen to 30 podcasts a week. 30!
Yeah, people are addicted to them.
It's almost a job.
Yeah. I mean, I'm old school. I'm talk radio. I listen to...
I listen to 570 all the time.
Yeah, I listen to 570 here locally in LA. I listen to Tim Conway Jr. on KFI.
Yeah, he's great.
I listen to Phil Henry, but he's on the internet now. I listen to Jim Rome at times. I mean, I'm kind of terrestrial.
Yeah.
It's like podcasting. I'm trying to get myself more into it, but it's hard to keep up with all that stuff. Definitely.
I think the hardest part for me for comedy is just being, trying not to get influenced by anybody. Because we live in this world where, like, oh, you got that for him and you got that for him. So it's like, I literally buy everybody's special. But
You buy
watch
'em?
it. I when I know my friends have put out a special, I'll buy it just to support them.
Nice.
Because I know it's so hard, but I won't listen to it. When the day comes where I say I don't want to do stand-up anymore for whatever reason, if that
Then you'll
day
start
comes,
listening?
I'll go back and listen to everybody's shit when it's all said and done. But right now, I just can't because I want to write freely.
You don't want to be influenced.
I don't want to be influenced,
I mean, that's why I kind of stopped listening to Howard Stern growing up, or when I first began doing stand-up. I was listening to Howard Stern quite a bit, and I could see some of my comedy leaning in that way. So I kind of like cut that out. And then I would listen to, for example, Phil Henry, who does tons of different characters. He's not a stand-up. Not that Howard Stern was a stand-up, but I felt like if I was influenced by, Phil Henry, it's not like I'm biting off his stand-up.
Right. In any other art, to be influenced is a sign of, respect. In stand-up comedy, and I think that's a big problem with our thing, is that people take it as you're jacking their shit.
Yeah.
I've seen people sit in the back and watch me forever.
Right.
And when I'm in the main room, and then I see it bleed into the act, I don't care anymore. I'm just like, hey, man. Pablo Francisco told me when you first start comedy, find somebody you really respect, try to act like them on stage, and then you'll eventually find your own way.
Really?
So what I did was I tried to be Richard Pryor. And it was very funny because I got accused of stealing from Pablo Francisco. And I was trying to do Richard Pryor, which was state your premise, act it out. That's all that. And then I realized that, Pablo Francisco did that as well. And then you find your own way.
Yeah.
I just want to work freely.
Yeah. I when I was in Seattle, that's when I really began doing stand-up up there in February of '94. There's a couple guys up there I could kind of see that maybe rubbed off on me a little bit, like certain maybe, that it could just be in my head too, that I think, oh, this guy, I kind of like sound like that guy. And then also, even when I do crowd work sometimes, because I hung out with Judah Friedlander quite a bit.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I do crowd work, I feel like I'm sounding like Judah at times. And again, that's probably just me thinking that. So those are really the only two guys. And then once in a while, maybe Zach Galifianakis, because we hung out a lot, but he could sound like me also,
Yeah,
it's like,
for
that's
sure.
what happens when you
I
hang
know
out.
people sound like you, Brody. I mean, we've all seen it.
It's easy to sound like me.
Yeah, I mean, you're memorable.
I think I have like a funny mouth, maybe. Somebody told me that when I was playing baseball. It was 1993. We were in Omaha, and I was eating sunflower seeds. And one of my teammates said to me, "You got a funny mouth," like when I'm eating. So I'd always like remembered that. You know, you only need like one little, you know, word of encouragement that will kind of like stick with you.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was kind of something that I remembered, you know, a little thing like that.
Well, I love your comedy, Brody. You're one of my favorite people to watch. You are unique very much, just like the guys in our front row here. A very colorful crew.
Yeah.
Are you guys Brody Stevens fans, tinfoil hat fans? What are you guys? Both. I like that. It's almost like a festival of friendship in here, huh?
You got it.
I fucking love it, dude. I love it. Brody, you and I have, I don't know how you lean. I'm now hearing I'm getting called alt-right here.
Welcome to the family.
I've been called everything from a faggot to racist to gay Jew shill. I mean, like, I literally get called everything by everybody. It's unbelievable because they only hear when I make fun of their side. Like, when I make fun of the other side, which I make fun of everybody on all sides, hypocrisy and tyranny, I rip everybody to shreds.
Yeah, you're right
you know?
down the middle on that.
Right? What do you see yourself as?
I'm blue collar. I'm from the San Fernando Valley.
That's blue collar like a motherfucker.
You know, it's changed a little bit over the years, but I grew up in the Valley in the 1980s.
Was that where Lost Boys is from?
No, they shot that on the Central Coast up.
I
in,
thought
like-
that was isn't Ventura. Where was that supposed to be out of?
I think it was like Ventura County
Is that
or
it,
somewhere
man?
up there. It wasn't the Valley. Santa
Santa
Cruz.
Cruz.
There you
Okay.
go. So all the way up
and
there.
that was, didn't they say that was like the murder capital of the world in that movie? You're like
May have
Santa
been.
Cruz is.
They have an amusement park there. You never know.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of kids getting kidnapped out of forest too.
Yeah, that could happen. I'm sure. Up
Dude,
in
on
Humboldt
national
County.
forest, kids just disappear. Why you bring your kids to the fucking forest, man?
And yeah, it's enchanted. The enchanted forest.
Have you? Yeah, that's so funny. So
My thing was, again, I grew up in the Valley. I went to Reseda. I drove a Pinto. My
did you
parents.
really drive a Pinto?
Yeah, and I couldn't handle it. My
What do you
self-esteem
mean?
wasn't
What
strong
couldn't
enough.
you handle?
The ridicule. I mean, to drive a Pinto, you got to be a tough kid.
You gotta want that. You gotta want that.
I couldn't handle
Now,
it.
for the younger generation, the Pinto, wasn't that like, what was the car, the Yugoslavian car that they put out?
The Yugo.
The Yugo, and that was like $20. You can get a car, and everyone just
Yeah.
shit on you forever.
But the Pinto had a reputation of
Of blowing
blowing up.
up.
If you rear-ended it, it blew up. So I couldn't handle it. It didn't give me confidence, but I drove it. And, you know, I played baseball. I went to Reseda, and I didn't have, you know, that's where the Karate Kid is from. People made fun of Reseda. People made, and
They
then
made fun of the Karate Kid?
yeah, Danielson, yeah. I mean, you got picked on. That's the whole thing. That's why Mr. Miyagi, like, took
Did you
him
ever
under
see
his
someone
wing.
where they recut it that he was the bad guy?
Oh, really?
Have you ever seen that video? It's so well done. You're like, he might have been the bad guy.
You never know.
You never know.
Yeah, I am. But so growing up, being in Reseda, the people put down the Valley, then they really put down Reseda. So I already had that
Double whammy.
Double whammy. I wouldn't even call it a chip on my shoulder. I just had that. So, but I played baseball, and I was able to kind of like use that to go to Arizona State and get into play baseball there, and then turn that later on into doing audience warm-up. So I was a blue-collar guy, and I'm from the Valley. So when you always hear people putting down the Valley, and I'm still living in the Valley, it's like all the TV shows are based in the Valley. All the production offices are in the Valley. But the Valley's so bad. Why are you out there? So that's where I was when the election was happening.
Okay.
To me, that was the fake news. That was the lie. Like, I'm in the Valley. I do warm-ups for these cool shows. I've been in some cool things.
You have.
And I'm from the Valley.
Yeah.
I drove a Pinto.
Yeah.
So I didn't go to private school on the west side.
Right.
I wasn't bar mitzvahed. I am
Right.
Jewish. So it's like, I am Jewish. So I have Jewish instincts. I have that. I just don't have the paperwork to back it up.
Okay, but I still recognize your Jewishness.
Yeah, I'm Jewish. I'm a blue collar
You're
Jewish
blue
guy.
collar Jew. You're blue. You're blue.
So I was just, my issues before the election and all, I just couldn't get down with, number one, the negative energy. Like I would see just the name calling on Twitter. It was just something I was totally against. It kind of came out of nowhere, all these like attacks on conservatives or Christians or what have you. So that kind of like, I didn't want to be a part of that. That to me, that was negative energy. And I brought positive energy to your shows. And my positive energy helped your shows.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and I'm from the Valley.
Yeah.
And people say, oh, the Valley's so bad, but you live there. You work there.
Right.
So that's where kind of
You
my
know what's so
issues
interesting about
happen.
that is that when everyone goes, I'm from LA, everyone's like, oh, it's gotta suck. It's like, no, actually it doesn't. You just hate this one section, which is Hollywood. What you hate about LA is Hollywood. The fucking downtown's wonderful. Yes, sometimes it's like The Walking Dead with the homeless people, but it's like the culture's great down there. Valley's cool as shit. The beaches are cool. I mean, like everywhere but this little area right here where all these people, where, like I used to say, like Hollywood's full of everybody you hated in high school.
Yeah.
They all move here and they just try to get empowered. And like, it sucks because the talent here is so great. And we've had this weird middleman that we've had to deal with forever. And they've manipulated like who gets access to the screen. I mean, like if we're watching what's going on in Netflix right now, what's happened is Viacom is dying. And everybody from Viacom came to Netflix. They're all running Netflix now. But they've taken that old Viacom way of thinking, and you see it in the programming right now. And it's like, it's not good. Outside of the fucking murder docs, I mean, are we liking anything? I mean, there's some we have some good, like, we got like, what's the drug dealing fucking show?
Narcos?
No, Narcos is great. Ozark's, right? But Ozark is going through the same shit that we see happen with HBO now, right? They take something amazing and they gotta ruin it.
Yeah.
I mean, look at like Entourage. The first 2 seasons of Entourage, I would put up, were like amazing, right? And then all of a sudden they're like, nah, let's take away the sex and the drugs and the craziness. So you're ending Entourage and you're just doing this clone of it because that's the good shit, right?
Yeah.
You look at Game of Thrones, same thing. I mean, Games of Thrones, the violence is great, the dragons are great, but the tits and ass are gone.
It's gone now?
Gone. Where's the tits and ass?
Right?
Right?
It's like...
I want to see a chick get humped by a dragon.
I noticed commercials. That the every commercial is a forced
Narrative,
whether it be a mixed couple or you're seeing people hang out together that wouldn't normally hang out together.
Oh yeah, don't you love these couples they put together? You're like, no way those two people are fucking.
Yeah.
No way.
No way. And it used to be once in a while, but now it's every single commercial I see and I go, that doesn't seem like reality to me. And I have no problem with having somebody who is wearing a hijab or have you ever seen anybody with a yarmulke on a commercial? That would never happen. But just let it happen naturally. And here's the funny thing. You have commercials that are pushing this narrative, the Mockingbird media, but then you go to Netflix and there's no commercials. It's like it's all bullet. It's crap.
Yeah.
It's like if you believe in it so much, why don't you have your commercials on Netflix?
Well, that's their whole sell that you're paying them for no commercials. But
they're saying that's commercials are a lie.
Well, commercials, if you watch the Super Bowl, are you guys Super Bowl people? You don't look like professional sports guys. Are you in any of them?
I watched it. I would consider it professional sports. Personally.
Really?
Not so much. Hockey. I'm only a fan of the Florida teams.
I respect that.
Yeah.
I think Florida gets a bad rap. I think it's a wonderful state. It's one of the best states for comedy. All red states are great.
Because they just
comedy?
want to laugh.
Well, because filth won the culture war. I say it all the time. It's like right now conservatism is don't tax me, don't take my guns.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody else are swingers, dude. I'm telling you, dude. Florida, Arizona, Texas, everybody's wife swapping. It's just like that's the new conservatism, man. It's like morally, they don't care. I mean, like most people, I don't see like gay bashing, like this guy that just got busted with that. Most people have no problems with somebody being gay.
Yeah, they
Right?
don't.
They really don't. They really don't. And this gay agenda that people yell about, I talk about all the time. Gay people are conspiring to see how they can get everybody gay. They don't really care. They got dick on the brain. They got dick on the brain. But they're not going, hey man, how can we corrupt the youth? They're just like, how can I get a job? I wish my dad would love me. And, occasionally I just want to get a dick down. It's the problem is the people from the top, the lizard people in suits, who are starting all the fights all the time anyways.
Yeah.
That's who every problem you have. Why is it when a white cop shoots a black man, it's on the news? Why is it when a white woman gets kidnapped or a kid gets kidnapped, it's on the news? But the other way around doesn't make any news. Because that's all being done by people to get us all fighting with each other.
Yeah, and I think people are starting to wake up to that.
I think they are too. I mean, dude, the NFL commercials was all like, white guys are cucks, black people are cool.
Yeah, every commercial.
Every commercial.
So, and that's why it's like, you would think that, do the African Americans notice that? It's like, do they know? I mean, I wouldn't want it. It's like, why are you helping me? Why are you bending over backwards for me? You think I need a handout? That's what I would be thinking at times. Like, and the other thing is, people are talking about how, jobs. I don't want to get all into the. I mean, we may, but
that's what the show's about.
But like, jobs being taken away from like Mexico or whatever. They're African Americans need jobs too.
Well, you know what, man? Again, it's like Mexicans aren't taking your jobs, dude. It's lizards in suits that are sending the jobs away. Dude, they're now having labor strikes in Mexico to demand higher wages. And guess what they're gonna do? Move those jobs somewhere else. That's just what it is, man. It's not Mexicans trying to do anything. Most of them would rather sit. If you see what's going on in Syria right now, now that basically Trump, and you can say whatever you want about him, he cut the funding for ISIS, right? He cut the funding. So now ISIS is like done because we fund ISIS. So every time you see one of those talking heads on TV tell you about ISIS, if we leave, ISIS is gonna grow. They're only gonna grow if we fucking send them PayPal money.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the only way they're gonna fucking grow. So he cut the funding off and Assad kicked their fucking asses. Guess what's happening now? All the Syrians are going back to Syria. They only fled because we were bombing the fuck out of their country. Mexicans are only coming to the United States because we've allowed the drug war to destroy their country. And who is running the drug war?
El Chapo.
CIA, dog. It's straight CIA. More and more documents coming out.
Chapo Intelligence Agency.
Yeah, Chapo Intelligence Agency. And they're going to send that guy here's my whole thing, dude. How do we really know these guys go to prison? How do we really know what's going on in prison? They send this guy who's been working with people, hand in hand with the CIA. They're going to send him to a max prison where he can't meet with anybody. 23 hours a day he's by himself. He gets 1 hour out. He can't talk to anybody.
Jared from Subway.
Yeah,
hang out.
Well, dude, he's getting out. Isn't it weird how like all these pedophiles get out early now too? Jared's supposed to get out early.
He is?
Anthony Weiner's
He's
getting
already
early.
out. Isn't Weiner out?
If people knew what Anthony Weiner did, they would go. I would like to think people would go crazy, but they just politicized everything so much.
It's like, who's got the laptop? There's stuff on that laptop.
Yeah.
That people, shouldn't
Go
be
back
seeing.
and try to find that article too. Go try to find the article in which the NYPD police chief says what he saw on that computer made him cry. Go find the article. You can't. They wiped it
What was
off
on
the
it?
internet.
Marley and Me?
Yeah. They wiped it off the internet. It's gone, dude.
It's gone. Oh, what hit that? Yeah, the internet's crazy how they wipe stuff off,
dude,
and they.
Chad Sumac was telling me he tried to get his mugshot taken off the internet, and they're like, it will cost $20,000 based on how many clicks it got. It got 1 million clicks at that moment, you know? So it was like the biggest thing Chad Zumach's ever done in his life, right? So he tried to get 20,000. So you have groups just out there, that's their job, is to get rid of all this stuff off the internet so you can't go back and like find the evidence, and you sound like a crazy person.
Yeah. It's it's crazy, like the algorithms on YouTube and even on Instagram, and that was the whole thing about censoring people off Twitter and you're not hearing the full story. You're not hearing the full story.
I was like, you shouldn't get rid of Alex Jones, but after this things that he's done with Rogan, like, I can't sit there and condone what he's doing. So it's taken away any information he's put out by, I'm getting attacked by a guy I'm not even going to talk about right now, and it's a nonstop onslaught.
Yeah.
And thank God I just block everybody, but it's just a nonstop onslaught, man. And it's just like, why Tumblr was great for going finding porn, dude. But then, of course, kiddie porn assholes had to come up there and start putting that shit on there. So now they clean that all out of the good fucking porn weird shit, right? So you can't go watch that. That was the best place to find weird porn, right?
Yeah.
Now you can't because someone always has to ruin it. So it's like Alex Jones is going to ruin what we had going on the internet. And that, to me, is his job.
And what do we have going on the internet?
Well, dude, I mean, like, look at YouTube. Look at the way they're trying to demonize YouTube. I mean, how many times does the mainstream media have to get busted telling lies? Whether it's the Gulf of Tonkin, weapons of mass destruction, Russian Gate. Well, those are just 3 examples off the top of my head.
I mean, but the kid with the
Native
drummer.
American drummer with 4 teeth.
I mean,
talking
come
to
on,
the
like,
smug face dude.
Like, couldn't people see that?
This guy you wanted to talk about, the guy in Chicago off of Empire, who could have easily gotten another show. Like, you're on a major show, you spin right off, you fall into another fucking show.
Yeah.
And you were afraid they're gonna write you off? So what? You go right to another show.
Yeah.
Like, that's just what they do.
And then all the celebrities just virtue signaling on it, and you just have to sit there and take it.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's
Did you
like,
see what the Counting Crows tweeted today? I mean, just pure dog shit, male feminist bullshit. I'm like, they're like, guys, it's been thousands of years of us oppressing you. And it's, ladies, it's been 1,000 years of us oppressing you. And it's like, no more, not anymore. Now there's going to be accountability. I'm like, name names or shut the fuck up.
yeah, I saw that, yeah. I mean, I got bussed. I went to school in central LA in 4th and 5th grade with Kasabian, Jerome, Antoine. And you know what? If you talk back and you play sports, they respect you.
Dude,
Blacks, everyone's afraid. Like, when I would do audience warm-up and I'd have these inner city schools in there, I would like talk back in a fun way, not get mad, but I would also
heat check.
give it to them.
Yeah.
And they would like that. But a lot of people, a lot of whites, they're afraid. It's like they're afraid of the black culture.
Well, you know what, man? It's just programming, dude. That's why they call it television programming. It's just programming. It's like, it's like white guys think women love fucking romantic. They want you running through fucking airports with flowers. They like knuckle draggers, dude. Chicks like knuckle draggers. That's what they're attracted to. They're fucking attracted to cavemen. That's what they fucking like. But the way the media makes everybody, and it's only white guys listening to this, that think they want fucking writing poetry and crying about, it's like, get the fuck out of here. It just doesn't matter. But they get beat down. Now there's got to be a pushback.
Yeah. And I feel, because my parents are divorced, my mom raised me, my dad was around, but my sister, I was around female energy, and I was around, you got to do therapy. Not that talk therapy's bad, but it was always like, I feel like that you got to have male energy in your life. And I'm an example, I feel, of somebody who didn't have enough male energy in my life. And I think today I kind of struggle with that sometimes, like confidence-wise. I mean, sometimes I wish I had an older brother. to like, you know, protect me at times from getting picked on or like teaching me the way. Again, my dad did a great job. My dad was always around. He always lived in the neighborhood. But I do feel, you know, they talk about toxic masculinity. I do feel like these boys need that because it doesn't naturally feel right. And it doesn't feel right for me. Like I was a hashtag never Hillary. It just didn't feel right to see that kind of behavior coming from her supporters and her, and I just couldn't get behind it.
I mean, look at what's going on right now with Bernie Sanders. It is a coordinated fucking attack that makes no fucking sense. It's like scripted. And it just makes me think more and more that Twitter's just a giant propaganda machine and that I need to get off it and I just need to put my dates on there, get in and get out.
I think people are leaning towards that.
I just find it, I mean, luckily Instagram will always be fucking Instagram host for me, like ass up, face down, and I'll never, you know, until that starts getting political, I'm fine with that. I don't know how that could die, but I feel like Facebook died really hard because everybody has a political position. You know, and now Twitter's like that too. And now these blue check people coming out of the woodwork. I've had to fucking check so many white female comedians with blue checks by the marks talking about Bernie bros. And it's just like, when I hear words like Bernie bros, white privilege, mansplaining, like that lets me think, oh, you're just hypnotized and regurgitating shit that they tell you to say on television. It's all mental warfare, bro. They just get think tanks to go around going, what can we say? What words can we say that we can put out that we can corrupt people's minds? Now, listen, women are wonderful. Men are wonderful. There's no bad groups, man. We're talking about squeaky wheels at this point. Like, who are the squeaky wheels? Who are the crazy? Most women, when you get out of LA, women are women, guys are guys. It's very primal. It's much here. It's like you just got this weird herd of people, man, and they've empowered the meek here. You know, it's my big problem. And I'm not gonna. This last time I ever talked about Judd Apatow and that whole thing. He empowers the meek. He empowers people to think it's okay to go to comedy clubs and fucking get in a comic's face if they don't like a joke he does. You know, if you don't like it. It doesn't mean it's offensive. You just don't like it. You just shut up or you leave. Walk out. I've had people do that to me. I respect on my shows in Minnesota. I walked a bunch of people. Mm-hmm. Go, get out. Get out. Who cares, man? That's the most you should do.
Yeah.
You don't like it? Walk the fuck out.
I mean, again, you know, Twitter on the phone, and something about Twitter. I've gotten in trouble on Twitter for various things back in the day and whenever. But yeah.
I got banned for 24 hours for telling somebody deep throat a shotgun. Apparently, whatever AI knows that's some shit.
Okay, well, that you know, take that one.
But let me just finish this one point. Is that like I've worked with like some female comedians, right? And this is not a female bashing show. This is not. But it's like I've worked with these, and like they can't take notes. They can't take notes from a guy like me. Mm-hmm. I've been doing comedy for 24 years. I've studied comedy. I know why things work. I know why things don't work. And when I try to give them little notes, even when I was younger and I was stubborn as fuck, if an older guy said something, I'd take it I'd apply to what I'm doing. I'd take what I like and I'd discard but I would listen. Not anymore, man. I had this woman from Chicago opening up for me in Wisconsin. She bombed. My feature bombed every night. Every night. I pulled her aside after like the second bomb and go, listen, man, you can't open up with a Harry Potter joke in Appleton, Wisconsin.
Why not?
Because, dude, it's like
they like Harry Potter.
Recognized as the #1 alcoholic county in the country. There are redneck kicks. They're fucking great. They're great people. Mm-hmm. They're boozers. They go hard, and they're blue collar. They don't want to hear you talking Harry Potter jokes.
Got it.
Okay? I go, don't open it. Go simple. She goes, maybe I should just do some homophobic, racist material. I go, you should try anything at this point. Burn a fucking cross on stage. Anything will help other than what you're doing right now. So I worked with this other comic. I'm not going to say her name. She's wonderful. We're good friends. But I tried to talk to her about something, and they just don't want to hear it. And they just start yelling out terms like, "Oh, you're trying to control me. You're trying." It's like, no, I'm trying to give you advice because I'm watching something that just needs a little fucking tinkering.
Yeah, a little tweak. Trying to help them.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that happening. I mean, people are sensitive about it, and maybe there's a lot of, probably are female comedians. There is a female empowerment, so I could see that being an issue. I mean, I feel that getting back to the Twitter and getting back to, I feel I could say what I want for the most part because my heart's in the right place. That's why stand-up comedy, for example, like the Comedy Store, is so popular because you're not on the computer, you're not staring at a screen, you don't have your little thoughts, you're seeing it, you're feeling it, the volume, the temperature, and everyone's getting along here.
Yeah.
It's like you look at the Comedy Store, you look at how popular live stand-up comedy is. That should show you how off base social media is, how mind controlling it is. Stand-up comedy is not mind controlling. It's real, it's natural, it's freedom of speech, and we're all getting along. But you get on that Twitter, it starts brainwashing people, and you start looking at the TV, it starts brainwashing people.
Well, people think, stand-up comedy is the closest thing to sports in all the arts.
Mm-hmm.
It really is, because it's a results-based product.
Ticket sales or laughs?
Both at the end of the day. I mean, liquor sales, ticket sales, and laughs. It wins, assists, blocks, points scored, 3-pointers, rushing yards. It's like results-based, okay?
Yeah.
So
that's my problem.
But dude, you kill.
Well,
we can get into that before I've told you what you need to do, which is go on the road. You would be great.
You don't talk to me that way, Sam.
Okay? No.
Are you trying to empower me?
So my point is that, it's like, why is the Comedy Store so busy all the time?
Uber.
Well, Joe Rogan, a big part of it, talking about on the biggest podcast ever, all the time. But also, the lineups are people that Mitzi Shore mined for years. And that when people complain about the lack of diversity on this lineup, well, there is total diversity.
There is.
Okay? But they don't realize, like, those guys are all assassins. You can't just plug in anybody into these lineups. Trevor and I, in the back, we started a dojo so that kids have a place to go practice, because you can't. Stand-up comedy is about, you got to get on stage. It is the only art you have to get on. You have to get in front of people. We could do this podcast without any guests here.
Yeah.
We could do it. It would crush. You can't do that. You can learn guitar without being in front of people. You can learn to sing. You can learn to paint. Any other art you can do without an audience. Stand-up comedy is the only thing you need an audience.
Yeah.
And if you don't get in front of a crowd, it's not gonna work. Ask Gerard Carmichael and whoever he did on fucking that one HBO special where he had no audience. How did that special go?
Not very well.
Good. And that's not against Gerard Carmichael. I love him to death. But those are two young guys doing something that maybe if they were 10 years down the road, might not think that was a good idea.
I mean, my special, which I did here at the Comedy Store.
Come on, give it up for that special. We've all seen it. It's one of the best of 2018.
Yeah, that's when it,
2018.
came out.
Yes.
I mean, because I did that special because I just captured what I was doing. It's like I did that, I do the late night closing spot in the main room quite a bit. And I had been doing it for a few years. And after like a year or two, I was thinking like, I'm doing an hour. I'm doing 45 minutes to an hour, and I'm keeping the audience. It's like, it doesn't have to be packed, and then the story behind it, like, it was packed, and this is a busted out audience. To me and other comedians, that's kind of funny. And then to actually do a special on
great,
that.
dude.
So,
Brody, you were great. Your special.
Amazon Prime.
Go
check it out.
Amazon
Brody
Prime.
Stevens at the main room. But that was kind of, I'm not saying, I'm not comparing that to the Drew Michael, Gerard Carmichael thing, but I was taking, it was different. It was...
Brody, it was in your element. It's your thing.
Happy
that
with
was
it.
done differently in front of no audience, so it didn't.
Well, late night audience. There was like 30 people in there.
But Brody, that's what makes that spot great.
Right, exactly. And you've done it too. Yeah, you know.
Well, I did it for like 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, I was like before they called it the Sam Kenson spot, I was doing that forever. And it's, yeah. I mean, I think people don't realize the blessings of a small crowd. I mean, I would rather work in front of a small crowd and then take the best shit in front of the big crowds, you know?
Right.
You can't do new material here. This is not, Mecca is not for new material. That's another reason we created Dojo, so you can go down there, work your new shit, fine tune it, and come here and test it out. This is the big leagues. You know, it's like Pablo Francisco used to say about the improv. You don't do new material at the office. That was the office. Well, this is the new office.
Yeah.
This is where you never know who's in the audience. People are always showing up. I mean, I've had huge celebrities in my Comedy my Comedy Chaos show.
Who's been showing up?
Huge band people I've never even, who was it? 1975? Who was that?
That's a popular band.
Popular band. Jennifer White, one of the number one interracial gangbang pornography chicks, was there. That's a little personal one for me, but you know, and then the list goes on and on.
And you got to bring it on those shows.
Yeah, that's the, I don't know if you heard the announcement, but it's the number one liquor sales show at the world famous Comedy Store.
Nice.
Yeah, which makes it the number one show at the number one club.
And you got to bring that.
Yeah,
You got to bring it.
You got to bring it every time, dude.
Yeah, for me, like just in terms of comedy, I do that when I do that late night spot so many times. It's like you get used to it, and then when you're in there like an earlier spot or on a third
It changes
party,
again. You're like, can you still do that? Can you take the loosey-goosey attitude with a packed room? And I go through that too. And I don't know why we can't. For me, I'm just speaking for me, I end up changing my game up. And I'm like, why don't I just go loosey-goosey? Because my theory is that the bigger the show, the easier the show.
should be.
Yeah.
But I can go into the original room, in a packed original room, which is 150, 60 people, and sprint through and do it. But that main room, because it is
You just walked one guy, he's offended by that.
it's a cavernous room, and I'm just so used to
It's
doing.
like every weed dealer from my high school, huh? Go on, you're just used to it?
But it's just getting reps in, and that's the hard thing about the Comedy Store now. It's so popular, and you got to go to the dojo. You got to go to these other rooms to be able to breathe a little bit.
The blessings of us, Brody, is that we got here in a special time, which is considered the Dark Ages here.
Yeah.
And I would never change it for anything. Those rooms where you walked in and there was 20 people in the OR, we will never see that again, or at least for a long time, where nobody was in the room. And I remember walking up, Steve Ranzizi's like, because this is so long ago, Steve Ranzizi was a cashier.
Yeah, he was working.
And he was like, should I be looking for a new job? And you're like, I don't know, man. And it was like, you could just work it out in there. But back to conspiracies.
Okay.
Do you believe in ghosts?
I like to believe in ghosts.
You ever seen ghosts here?
I haven't. I have to be honest with you. I've not seen ghosts, but I mean, I know people have or have stories about
I have
it.
2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 2 times I've seen shit here. For sure. Like weird shit. And I think it's like, actually did a show. I was just in Edmonton, and I was doing one of the Patreon episodes I did, you can see an orb just go right in front of me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's creepy as shit. We had Abby Martin in here, a very famous journalist, and people were saying you could see orbs just floating above
I mean, it's
her head.
possible. I mean, I think a lot of it, Hollywood in general, I think definitely like with Laurel Canyon, there is an energy. I mean, they say that's haunted. There's haunted stuff up in there. So I feel like just the Sunset Boulevard, the canyon, and then you also have Griffith Park Observatory. There's a lot of stuff You've got the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena. There is.
Oh yeah, do you guys know the story of that whole stuff?
I mean, there's symbolism in this city.
The Jet Propulsion, the JPL.
JPL.
Yeah, well, so people don't know this about NASA, but it was founded by Nazis, a Satanist, and L. Ron Hubbard. And nobody wants to ever talk about that, but that's 100% the truth.
Scientology is right here.
Jack Parsons was he was a rocket scientist, and during that time, his BFF was L. Ron Hubbard.
Yeah.
And L. Ron Hubbard worked with him on that stuff. And I'm going to say something about flat Earth, dude. I am not a flat Earth guy, but I want to know, why is everybody so upset about something that they deem so ridiculous? Why does it drive people crazy so bad? Why is YouTube talking about it's one of the 3 videos they're going to get rid of? I know why they're getting rid of.
Oh, they are?
Oh, yeah. They're talking about getting rid of 3 types of videos. Alternative remedies that they say cure everything. Well, why would you get rid of that? Oh.
Apple cider vinegar?
Probably, dude.
Iodine drops?
Probably, dude. Big pharmaceuticals, man. They own part of Alphabet, which owns part of Google.
ABC.
Which owns Google. And yeah. So, I mean, they're getting rid of that. So you know that's why they're getting rid of the remedies thing. So then you apply it to 9/11. Why 9/11?
Because that was an inside job?
Yeah. I mean, they don't want you, all these false theories. Well, really? Why are you getting rid of that? Why is that scary? And then if you look at those 2 and you go, what's the third one? Flat Earth. You want to not believe flat? You want to believe we're on a ball? I'm fine with that. That's what I believe, only because I was taught that, and
Yeah.
I've done no research into anything else. I just regurgitate what I was told. Why are you so afraid of those videos? Why do you want those videos off of YouTube? What is about that you want those videos off? Why does that drive you so crazy? Lady who runs Google.
Yeah, I don't know about the flat Earth. Like,
Yeah.
why that? Does that mean does that lead to, like, oh, maybe there is a flat Earth?
Well, all I've ever known is if they tell you can't question something or do something, there's something going on there. That's just we had Greg Carwood here before you last week, Higher Side Chats. He talked about how he thought Sandy Hook videos get you kicked off of YouTube.
Well, yeah. What do you think about that? All these like crisis. I'm not saying Sandy Hook had crisis. I don't want to get into that because I don't want to get in trouble. But there are a lot of crisis actor videos that were out there with different shootings with like Orlando and some people say Sandy Hook or Vegas. Like something was fishy with Vegas.
Oh, I mean, dude, if you still believe Vegas went down the official narrative, you're a crazy person. I mean, dude, there are literal flight videos that basically cover what the airport sees in terms of like where everybody is for people in the towers.
Yeah.
And you see helicopters leave McCarran Airport, which is the Vegas airport, fly to Mandalay Bay, and then turn their fucking locators off.
And who was behind this, the Vegas shooting?
I mean, the belief was 2 narratives are going on. I want to ask you about this too. Sheldon Anderson, who wanted to put body scanners in every hotel.
Okay.
He bought part of this company that makes them, and he wanted to put them in the hotels. So you would have to go through body scanners to get into each hotel. Okay. Which is going to kill off Vegas. If they weren't killing off Vegas enough with charging for parking and these resort fees that you don't know about till you get your hotel, and you're like, oh, we got a $40 room, and you show up now, it's an $80 room, and that's every night. Now body scanners would drive it into the ground. So they wanted that, and then the narrative is guns, dude. It really is, man.
They want to get rid of it's a gun
They
grab.
want your guns, dog. They want your guns. What do you think of the new thing that if you own a marijuana license card, you can't own a gun? Did you hear that?
No.
How is that legal in this country that has a Second Amendment? And why are you taking away guns from the people who are chilling the fuck out? Let's face it, the only weed people who get shot are rappers. Am I right? They're the only ones?
Yeah.
Because they're probably fucking dipping that shit in something else.
So let's say you got people in Texas with guns, and they go for, okay, guns are illegal. How is that? How are they going to go? Is they going to send in the army to go get the guns from people? Is that what's going to happen?
Do you guys listen to the podcast? Do you listen? Do you listen to the one with Ryan Dawson just on? And the battle for, I forget the name of it, but we're going to do a whole episode on next month. What?
That was the ISIS.
Yeah, that was the ISIS
Yeah,
one. And he's talking about the Battle of something mountain. I forget the name of it.
Space Mountain?
No, yes, the Battle of Space Mountain.
The documentary?
No, there's do you know why they call them rednecks? Because these hicks were tired of the deal that what these owners of these factories were doing, that they revolted. And they would wear red scarves around their necks.
Oh.
And that's how they got known as rednecks.
Oh, it's not from sunburn.
No, it's not from that at all.
Thought it was.
But what these guys brought us, these rednecks, they got rid of child labor. They had fucking basically created labor laws from these guys, and they'll never tell you that. They'll never tell you that. So when everybody pounds on white Southern guys, just know your labor laws come from these dudes who battled the federal government.
Yeah. I mean, I always say, like, I played baseball at Arizona State.
Same thing.
Okay? So I was a Jewish guy. And I would always hear Jewish jokes and big nose jokes and all of that stuff. Jock humor. Didn't feel good. But to this day, I'm close friends with these guys. It's like, that's how it's like, they're not good with development, like for stand-up or creativity. Like, you're not gonna, like, I don't think grow that much as a stand-up in a sunny state like a Florida or an Arizona, in terms of like development. They want to hear the jokes. But I feel like, because they would do Jewish jokes and people, well, are you gonna tell the coach and complain? And it's like, no, I'm not gonna. I can tell that they just not used to being around me. And then instead of me panicking and getting upset and pointing fingers, I just like took it. And now they're like my closest friends because I knew it wasn't coming from a malicious place.
Context is everything.
Yeah.
And I agree with that, dude. It's like I've come to learn that, like, comics talk shit.
Yeah, that means they like
So
you.
you have to allow a degree of shit talking to happen without getting offended by it.
Yeah.
Like, I did this rant on this one guy that's been terrorizing me. Someone instantly pulled it, cut it all up, and put it out as a video. And then these other guys kind of ripped on me the whole time the video, and I thought it was funny. Mm-hmm. And, like, I talk shit about a lot of people. I have to be okay with people talking shit about me. As long as they're not giving away personal information or any of that stuff. And that's why I have a problem with Alex Jones. You're going after this guy's family. Even the mob and the FBI made a deal. All families are all fucking out of bounds. We don't touch each other's families. That's all fucking respect, dude. They didn't do fucking anything, you know? So it's like, I allow a degree of, as long as you're not giving away personal secrets.
Yeah.
Talk me all you want. I don't really care. I have a real problem with comics who can't take a joke.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you're in that, I mean, yeah, you put that stuff out, so you're okay with it. But there's some comedians who, they're not ball busters. They're just like funny, sensitive. No, comedians are sensitive.
Yeah, we all are.
You know, some comedians can't take a joke.
Yeah.
I don't think.
And they're called clean comics.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sensitive. I mean, I was at a show in Chicago, and I went at the bar and said, you know, can I get a Red Bull? I'm on the show. Oh, congratulations. He's like being a jerk. I go, why are you being a jerk? He goes, what, you can't take a joke? I go, yeah, but you're being a jerk. Oh, you're a comedian. And so I mean, people do think that.
Right.
You know,
I mean, I just saw some chick going off on Dane Cook.
Right, Dane Cook reacted to something today.
Well, he had every right to. It's like, oh, I bought tickets to Dane. I didn't even know he was still doing stand-up or was alive. And it's like, why would you even, like, I get it, man. I mean, I roll with it. He seemed to be upset about it. I think that Twitter's made it so, like, Frank Sinatra never had to worry about this bullshit. Right?
Yeah.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Like, he would get murdered today on his Scooby-Dooby-Doo. They would fucking rip him a new asshole.
Yeah.
We have to deal with that right now. You know, I have to put out something and just go, okay, what's the instant feedback is? Because it's not natural to say, hey, you did a great job.
Oh, thank you.
Right?
I felt good.
Yeah, it's not natural though.
Why?
The natural thing is just to go to your friends, hey, he was great, and you walk off. It's only when you get angry. You got to talk to somebody. I literally have to do a joke before show, during the show about how before the show, me and other comics, we prayed to the comedy gods, please make white women over 40 laugh.
Yeah.
Because that's the number demographic for wanting to talk to the management.
Yeah.
And I do it just to make it so the white women are self-conscious that they're not feeding into the stereotype and they just walk off mad and they don't just go talk to the manager.
Right.
But it's like, that's the feedback we get. So you get 1,000, what time are we up to?
10:15.
Okay.
I gotta go
we got
pretty
you
soon.
going.
I'm having a great time.
Brody's in. I think we got too close to the truth and Brody got uncomfortable.
No, I want to keep going. I just have
It's
to
okay.
go. I have to go to Burbank.
How much? What time are we up to?
55 minutes.
Okay, Brody, I'm gonna bring in
All right. I believe me.
Wayne
I
Roberts.
want to keep going, but
Brody
I have to go to
is
this other show.
running off. We got too close to truth today. Do you guys have any quick questions? One quick question, anybody?
What's your opinion on the Mueller report, the special counsel, and how they're apparently releasing their report?
And it's gonna say that nothing's there.
That's what I'm hearing. Nothing's there.
And Rachel Meadows keeps doubling down on this shit. And it's blowing my fucking skull. Like, she is committing credit suicide. Credibility. Like, it's out the door with this
But it
shit.
doesn't matter. I mean, once it goes, she'll just keep going.
Well, it's the only place she'll ever make $8 million a year.
Is that MSNBC or whatever?
Well, reading off a teleprompter. Unless she becomes a power forward in the NBA, it's never happening.
I mean, what do you think about the whole Ed Buck stuff that's going on? That's been
I want to
like
go beat the
shit.
fuck out of that guy right now. I can't believe
he's
they
over on
should-
Laurel. Let's go check it out.
I would go find him, dude. That guy needs his ass. He's walking around with another young black kid.
Yeah.
I mean, why are we letting these people get away with this?
It is unbelievable.
I mean, can we reverse lynch this shit?
I mean, why aren't people like banging down his door?
Why aren't the Me Too people who are so worried about sexual fucking harassment not mad that this white guy's killing off black men?
Because he was a big supporter of.
Oh, he's a
Adam
mega
Schiff.
donor living in an apartment?
Something's up with that. Maybe he just uses the apartment for that dungeon. I don't know. But something's up with that Ed Buck, that this guy has had 2 black guys dead in his apartment.
Yeah.
And it's not even a story anymore. I saw him at Trader Joe's.
I want to fight him. Really?
No.
When you see him, I'll fight him.
Sam, I had a great time. I want to keep going, but I got to run to Burbank.
Brody's blackballed. He's gone.
Oh, come on.
No, have fun. Go to the Valley, buddy. Please
be
welcome back to the show for a quick ending, Wayne Roberts, everybody. Wayne, as we were driving over, you were telling me about how your friends might have thought you were crazy because you are, in fact, a Charles Manson enthusiast, would you say?
Totally.
Okay. He said that creepy as fuck, didn't he? What is your thoughts on, and we'll get into this on another episode, but a little bit about your thoughts on Charles Manson. There was always this theory that he was used as a prop to demonize the hippie movement, which is hilarious because the hippie movement was completely constructed by the CIA in order to encourage acid, and they felt hippies would be more docile.
Right. They thought they thought they could control them, but they realized no, we can't control people on acid.
The whole movement now is that DMT, shrooms, and acid are
Opening their
all psyops.
I don't really.
I don't buy into it either. But so, your opinion on Charles Manson?
Well, I thought it was funny that I brought it up earlier before the show, and then Brody talks about one of the kids he went to school with named Kasabian. Linda Kasabian is the one that got immunity that was there both nights.
Was she Armenian?
I don't know where she was.
Sounds Armenian to
I don't
me.
know exactly. Yeah, it sounds like an Armenian name, but I'm not exactly sure what her. She's from the Northeast. I know that. Her real name is a name of some people that lived in my town, and I started to think, wait, when I was doing the homework, that scared me, but it wasn't true. But anyway, the point is, nobody talks about that woman getting immunity and having lunch with Bugliosi a couple of times during that trial in Santa Monica. What do you do? She was there for both murders. She got immunity, and she was totally full of shit. That chick left her kid a couple of times. Did they trust her? She lied through it. Her and Tex Watson were the real fucking problem. Nobody mentions Tex. Everybody,
explain exactly
you talk about
who these
shitty
people
news.
are.
You talk about shitty news. You talk about these fucking people you see every single day on the news getting paid all these dollars, continually saying that Charles Manson was a serial killer. He didn't kill anybody. You can't be a serial killer if you didn't fucking kill anybody.
So you're trying to say that Charles Manson was a patsy? Is that
Kind
what
of a
you're saying?
patsy, yeah, totally. It was everything was Tex Watson. Charles Tex Watson did almost all of that blood was him. That guy went to prison, but he was able to get married, have children, write a book, all kinds of shit. Manson, who did nothing, this little 5'5" dude who apparently could control everybody, but nobody in the prison, nobody in the courtroom. They stuck that guy in a room that was smaller than half of this fucking room for all those years, and everybody, scumbag. He didn't fucking do anything. And it makes me sick to see these people that are called journalists continually call him a serial killer or all those words that belong to people that are our president.
So
way more
interesting.
than this little guy who, and all those fucking people.
Everything is just not what we thought it was.
He became a
I'm not
cash
saying
cow
what
for
you're saying
everybody,
is
you know?
100% true or 100% false. I'm more than interesting to hear it because I mean, like, when I'm listening to these people on the news talk about how come Trump isn't trusting our intelligence community, and I'm like listing this, 9/11, Oklahoma City bombing, fucking every school shooting, Vegas, the drug war. I mean, we can just go on forever and ever on why. And I'm not saying, listen, dude, I know the conspiracy community is a big Trump people. I take it instance to instance.
Well, the shit that I talk about is not conspiracy. It's stuff that actually is fucking, you can find out is fact.
No, I'm not saying it's not that.
Well, I mean, with the Manson thing, right?
You know, I mean, well, I'll tell you, dude, this show is a lot less conspiracy and a lot more history
It's
and
conspiracy
unreported
facts.
history.
It's
And that's
conspiracy
what we
facts.
do. And any show you listen to, research it, man. Tell me where I'm wrong. I'll admit when I'm wrong. Show me it. Because I only put out what I believe is the most accurate facts I can.
Exactly.
Sometimes I don't get all the facts, but I get most of the facts. So you're telling me this guy was
Tex was a dirtbag and stole a whole. He would fuck up drug dealers. Remember the movie True Romance at the beginning where Gary Sinise, they're making a drug deal and they kill those guys and take the money. That's basically what Tex would do, but without killing people until this time. Tex fucked up so much, and he'd be like to go to Charles and be like, "What do I do? What do I do?" He's like, and that's what Charles meant by you got to do what you got to do, man. He was ordered to do shit, not by Charles though, by other people. He had to do things. He got dirty. He fucked up with the bikers. You don't fuck with the bikers. Anyway, him and Kasabian, they were fucking speed freaks. They were on these. Manson was didn't do the speed shit. He was a mushroom and weed dude. Yeah, he was a pimp sometimes, but all those girls, they make it sound like they were innocent. They were pimping themselves before they came across Charles. And Charles gets all this shit, and it's such a.
I still think prostitution should be legal.
Puke-inducing. You're
What's
damn
more
right it would be.
capitalistic than
It
that?
should be.
Supply and demand.
It'll be cleaner.
I feel like Instagram has brought out the hoochie culture too. Right?
I'm not-
More girls are like, hey man, pay my rent. I'm like, what? Is that old? I don't know, man. But I find that interesting, dude. I've heard that a lot about that guy was used for culture. I think, dude, they have no problems with just destroying somebody's life.
You go back and watch. Go on YouTube and watch the Manson interview with Tom Snyder, and if you and Geraldo Rivera. And after all this time passing, remember how we thought those guys were cool? Now when somebody says Tom Snyder, oh, what a fuck that fucking asshole. You watch this and he's just needling Charles. Come on, Charles, come down out of the clouds, Charles. I'm trying to fucking explain it to you, but you keep cutting me off, you
Who
fucking
else did
asshole.
that? 60 Minutes did that.
Geraldo, where he should have fucking bashed Geraldo right in the face, because Geraldo's not listening. They're all instigating him. The best interview was done by fucking Ron Reagan Jr. He's the one that gives him the most respect if you go back and watch those fucking interviews. And I'm not Mr. Whew, boy, now you gotta stop giving me weed. Anyway, I'm sorry, I get lost there. It gets that
get
story
passionate
gets
about
me
your cult
fucking
leaders.
pissed. That dude, man, he had to sit in a box for so many years. He couldn't have anything. And those motherfuckers that worked in that prison, they made off like bandits because he had so much shit coming in from people. People like I sent him a letter once.
Okay.
I wish I hadn't have fucking deleted it. I took a picture of it before I sent it off. It was 3 pages actually, a few years ago. They basically, he had to use that money that was coming in, all the shit that was coming in from people that would fill up his account, to stay alive. Because people wanted to hurt him bad for their name to be as big as his.
Oh, yeah, like
they
that
tried
guy
to fucking
killed
burn him.
Dahmer.
They pumped him with all kinds of drugs that he didn't need. You go back and listen to this shit before prison and listen to him talk, and you're like, wait a minute, that
You
sounds
say he's
like
he's got
that
great
sounds
music?
Like it sounds like he's talking Eckhart Tolle. He's talking Krishnamurti shit. And his fucking this stuff, and man, the Beatles, and then Dennis Wilson ruined that fucking song, changed the title, changed the words into it, and then totally ruined it. Cease to exist, meaning get rid of your ego. That was the real song, and they changed it to suck my ass or something. It's fucking awful. If you go on YouTube and
knew
pull
he
up
was a
the Beach Boys and pull
gangster
up
rapper
his song,
before
that song
everybody
that they did,
else.
the Manson song, and it's like Dennis Wilson singing. Like, it's so awful. It's so fucking awful.
Hey,
You're like,
dude,
what
listen
the
to
hell
me,
is
man.
this? Why does nobody talk?
Their game is a long game. All this shit.
Mine's shorter now.
Totally acceptable and believable. That's the word I should use. Believable. It's totally believable. They manipulate you, and it's a long game. They set everything up from the beginning. So we're gonna do a whole episode on this. I'll be on the main thing. We'll talk Charles Manson and all that shit. To the studio audience, this packed house. Any questions for myself, Wayne Roberts, anything at all, LA Speedweed, anything? You don't have to ask anything, but you get, okay, guy in the back, the uncomfortable guy.
What Malaysian Flight 370, they said that there was a patent. One of the people on the airplane
Yeah.
was holding a patent for something. Did we ever find out what that patent was?
Yeah, I believe it was the patent for a thing that could cloak planes so they never appear on radar or sonar. What?
I don't believe it.
You don't believe it?
No.
The same people sunk the fucking Titanic,
The Olympic.
you know?
That wasn't the Titanic. That went
Yeah,
down.
there's 2 of them. So, a fucking iceberg? I mean, are you fucking serious? Just happened to be that 3 billionaires who were on that fucking boat didn't want these centralized banks.
Yeah.
And they fucking killed them. So, these are Rothschilds. I mean, we're talking people were PG&E who fucking just burnt California,
Yeah.
right? I mean, we're talking about people who basically created Hitler. Okay? I mean, that's a straight up truth, man.
No, the patent, that was what the patent was for from Malaysian Flight 370.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, or it could have been the AIDS doctors, but I think it was
Okay.
the patent.
I read into that for a long time when it was like still cool.
Yeah.
And I still.
Do you know there was a mysterious picture of the somebody that was supposedly on a plane that looked like they were landing in Diego Garcia?
Yeah, I read about that island out there. That
Which is,
it's
you know,
US
think about this,
authorized,
dude.
Yeah.
Operation Northwood. Read into that.
Northwood, shit.
Okay? Read into that. And you go, wow, what does that sound just like? 9/11. And it got to a president that let it fucking happen. Right? So now if you take that whole thing, sounds exactly like the Malaysian Airlines fucking landed somewhere but kill everybody off.
Yeah.
And you keep the parent because the only guy has a parent that isn't on a plane is a fucking Rothschild.
You want to hear something funny? Speaking of 9/11, I remembered this talking
That's
to
a
buddy
weird
of mine the other
statement.
day. I was in an argument. I was in a conversation with a dude about 9/11 and a guy this is 10 years ago, and it was somebody who believes the official story, and he sat there this close and he tried to explain the explosions that were heard in the building before the planes hit and everything. Dude, and then afterwards, those were bodies hitting the ground. Bam, splatted. What?
Yeah.
This guy was fucking serious.
No,
Trying to
what
tell
it
me that
is
people
that
that had
pe-
jumped from the star, hitting the ground, those were the sounds of the explosions.
People just don't want to believe they were either.
Meanwhile, people inside had their hands melting because they were right there by the explosions.
Yeah, for sure, dude. For sure, dude. For sure. I always wonder if Pete Davidson and Nick Kroll ever have a conversation.
The fuck?
It's like, hey, dude, why didn't your dad show up to work that day? My dad did. And he's not with us anymore. Why'd your dad and his whole office not show up that day? I'd love to hear that conversation. Why don't you make that movie, Judd Apatow?
I had a friend that was in both. I had a friend who lived and was in both buildings that morning. She worked in the which tower fell second? Tower 1? She was in the gym at 1. She went into work early that day.
I
She
think
worked
they
in
literally
1.
call it 1 and 2 based on which one fell first, right?
She came out of the one with the build that got hit first. That was where the gym was. And as she was walking across and getting into the elevator and going up, boom. She just got out of that building, goes
Oh
up,
my
and then when she got
God.
to the 89th floor, I think is where she worked.
Just think about that.
They were like, no, stay. She's like, no.
And you saw that video where the
And
guy, the Asian man who was like in charge of transportation, was on a flight with Cheney, and he basically says Cheney told them not to stop the plane from attacking the Pentagon. I mean,
NORAD
they
stand
let, I mean, like, people just don't get it. They let planes, which I think were drones.
45 minutes floating around. Now, Payne Stewart, a fucking golfer with 6 other people on the plane, little fucking Cessna, NORAD's right there, boom, right beside him.
Yeah,
in
dude, look at
15
the guy in
fucking
Seattle
minutes.
who's fucking
The 4
doing
commercial
loops.
airliners, nah.
And they were
let 'em
there in
go.
2 seconds. This one, Dick Cheney literally told them to fly out to the ocean. Okay, in the back.
Did you see Bill Cooper's...
Talk louder.
Did you see Bill Cooper's radio show?
Oh, I love Bill Cooper.
Did you see when he called 9/11 before it happened? And then they got rid of him after it happened? Or was it before it happened?
He called it before. He said, and they were going to blame it on Osama bin Laden. Now, here's an interesting thing. 2 times in this history of this country, George Bush has been in the city that an amazing tragedy has happened. He was in Dallas the day before, in which a giant group of like foreigners flew in for what they called the event, which was to take out Kennedy. The night before 9/11, we got to wrap it up here. The night before 9/11, the Carlyle group had a giant banquet dinner reception in a hotel that could view the event. And do you know who the special guest of that Carlyle gala was? The Bin Laden family. Those are facts. And it's really super tragic, dude.
Another boogeyman.
I mean, the whole thing is like, part of me, like,
Is every Navy
I
SEAL
keep
dead
trying to
now?
hold off all those guys that killed them. Yeah, a lot
all
of them
gone
are
now,
dead.
yeah.
Except for one guy who wrote the book.
And they say, when they talk about not people that don't want to believe 9/11 truth, they're like, well, so many people would have been involved. And blah blah. Did you ever see Goodfellas? Everybody,
Do you know how many
they're all
9/11
dead. They kill them off.
How many people were killed? Like 67 witnesses to the JFK assassination killed. Gone,
I
dead.
don't know, but there was one of them. I don't want to keep it going, but some people try to say that Zapruder was actually.
He was a 33 level
Yeah,
Freemason. It's
yeah.
the only video of the thing, and there's 2 seconds missing from the clip, in which they say the driver turned around and hit him. I don't know,
Yeah,
but some crazy shit.
I believe the Bill Hicks back into the left, back into the.
You know
left.
what, man? There's a reason why they don't release the results of the autopsy of the Vegas shootings. Is because it would tell you
God.
that there were bullets coming from different directions. And that's why they won't let you see that. Question in the back, and then we're wrapping up.
With the Vegas one, how come nobody investigated that post that was on 4chan? Because before it happened...
Who's going to investigate it? The people who fucking... I mean, like, dude, where was SWAT? SWAT wasn't anywhere near there. They were in the Tropicana for some fucking reason. Because there were fucking shooters there were shooters all over town. What I really believed happened was that terrorists in the country were going to buy guns from Paddock, and they all got set up, and they were going to be meant to look like, a gun deal gone bad. And these guys heard out heard about took off, and that's when chaos happened. There were 3 women in his room. And when we hear about there's a woman at the fucking festival before going, you're all gonna die tonight. That's interesting shit. See, here's the whole thing, dude. It's just like, I love learning the news. This is history lessons. It's just dark history and it's unreported history. But it's all history. So it's not conspiracy, it's history.
It's dark because it's fucking true. Most of it.
How many times do I gotta be right? I'm right all the time. Okay, I was wrong about Q, but I think Q was real at the beginning, and I think now it became something else. But that's my hint. This has been Conspiracy Now. Did you guys have a good time? Yeah. I know it was a lot of comedy. Brody Stevens, Wayne Roberts. We got a great show next week, and I want to thank Speedweed for hooking everybody up. Go to speedweed.com. Use the promo code tinfoil hat, and we're gonna promote that on the main feed on Friday. We're talking the Smiley Face Killer, and we'll do it again. Thanks, Wayne. Bye, guys. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Comedy Store. Bye. Bye, guys.